when I started this business, I did every capacity of it.
Yeah.
You know, I was a producer, I was a writer, I was an editor, I was the salesperson. I did it all, right? How do you scale a business? You scale a business by delegating responsibility.
Who, not a how.
Right? There's no way that I could do it all.
Yeah.
I could try to do it all and make all the money, right?
Yeah.
There's no way that I can grow. I got 24 hours in a day. People talk about they could time manage it. You can't manage time. You can only manage yourself within the confines of time, right?
Yeah.
But for us, I think one of the keys to our success is like, it's never been about money. One of my mentors told me years ago is like, don't worry about the money. If you do good work, the money will find you.
Yeah.
The opportunities will find you.
100%.
So I've always kept that as a narrative. We never do projects for a budget centric.
Yeah.
We do projects for opportunities, and we don't want to do one-offs.
Yeah.
Like that, you know, who spends their time just doing one-offs? So that opportunity cost is gone, right?
Yeah.
We want to build long-term relationships. So we want our name to be recognized as an organization that over delivers and not under delivers. The idea of us, if you could watch something that we produced, turn the volume off, and still get it, that means we've done something impactful.
Like that. That's
right?
like that.
That means like you get it without any audio.
Mm-hmm.
The audio's lanyard.
All right, man. Legacy Lounge. Sometimes people want to talk.
We have an incredible guest here.
What's up, brother?
The definition of the Legacy Lounge is the stuff that he's putting together. He's a great community leader. His story is amazing.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back to the lounge. We got episode 64 going down here, and really excited to continue this little stretch that we have, especially with our entrepreneurs. Selfishly, I love it the most. We get to hear the stories of the different entrepreneurs, the ones that are shaping our city. And today we have KJ from KJ2 Productions, Kenneth Johnston. Welcome to the lounge.
Welcome, man. The lounge is pure, brother. I love it, man.
It's a good little space, right?
Hey, man, this is, when I thought about the Legacy Lounge, I didn't know what I was going to walk into. But this is definitely pure, man. I love what you guys are doing.
I love it. I love it. And thank you so much for being here. Again, we're continuing. You have your hands into so many things. Obviously, the production company is what you're known for the most, but you have your hands in a lot. But, for our listeners, to give a little cliff notes of who you are, what you do, I would love to hear it in your own words before we venture into all the things that you have your hands on.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Well, honestly, brother, it's interesting when you think about trajectories in life and where you envision yourself start and then where you are in some capacities. And, I am a product of the South. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana.
Yes.
I know you got some French roots.
Oh, yeah, man.
So I, have had this matriculation in life. The interesting thing, I came from no affluence, zero, right? My grandmother, in fact, didn't have a college degree, but I used to say she had a PhD in grandma.
That's right.
She knew how to grandma.
That's right.
So I grew up in this kind of situation where me and my cousins, I have 8 cousins, and we are 7 cousins. There's 8 of us boys on my dad's side, and we have this saying, we say, born cousins raised brothers.
Yes, sir.
Right? Because that's how we were.
Yes, sir.
We grew up in a, when I think of remember the old sofa beds? We used to sleep head to toe in sofa beds, you know, grown kids sleeping that way. And, I was just very fortunate to grow up in that environment. And when I say there's zero influence.
Yeah.
But I never felt
Yeah.
like I was, I never felt depreciated in that value because I just always grew up around this incredibly loving family. But with that being said, I didn't have this capacity when I was a kid. Growing up in New Orleans, you see a lot of creativity.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But you see people on the streets like begging for, dancing for a little change or painting with a bucket outside. So my creative side never thought, how do I monetize creativity?
Yeah.
It was never even a forecast for me. So I kind of pivoted and just said, I'm just going to suppress that creativity. When I was a kid, I used to record everything with a video camera, the old school ones, with not this high technology we're sitting with now. But I used to record with the tape and just all these events. So I knew I had this creative knack, but I didn't know how to monetize it. I didn't know what to do with it, right? So growing up with that pressure of thinking, how could I go to college, go to maybe an art school, and then become a broke, starving student. I just couldn't put that past the narrative. So I just kind of suppressed that, went on, and went to business school. I majored in business, went to business school, graduated, and then worked in corporate America for almost 6 years.
Were you still in the South at the time with all this?
Moved around a little bit. My job started moving me around.
Okay.
I worked in medical sales, so I started with a company called Sharing Plow. I don't know if you guys remember Claritin and Nasonex. I used to sell. I was a drug dealer, bro. I was a legalized drug dealer, right? And then I moved into the space of medical sales.
Yeah.
So the great thing about these jobs were a lot of autonomy, right? Made great money. I mean, my first year out of college, out of undergrad, I think I made $98,000 as a man. Most cats were getting out making $35,000. I was making really good money. And had this autonomy. But the one thing about it was I was never passionate about it.
Yeah.
There's no passion associated with it. So 5 years into my career, had this epiphany. Went on a golf trip with my buddies to the Bahamas. I was flying back from the Bahamas. I pulled my laptop out, and I said, I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to go back to film school. Now, the critical point here was this is 2008. March of 2008, right?
Damn.
You know what happened. You guys are in real estate. You know what happened in 2008.
Oh, yeah.
So this was critical timing. I made this. I created an email and I sent it to my boss. I said, just going to, I'm going to quit my job. I had a little bread saved.
Yeah.
And decided to quit my job and go back to film school. Now, I hadn't gotten accepted to film school at this point in time. I just had this epiphany it was going to happen.
Yeah.
But here's the crazy thing. If I would have waited 2 months to make that decision, I would have never left my job. I would have never, who would leave a job in that type of mindset? But so it was perfect timing. Wow. I quit my job, decided to go back to film school, went to film school. My job wound up moving me to LA. So I was the tipping point, so to speak. Because I was around all these creatives. I was like, shit, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
I got a little bit of nest egg saved. Decided to quit my job and went back to film school, bro, for 2 years. And went and got my MFA. And then the irony was I had this, because creatives are very on this side, right?
Yeah.
Very different than, clinical folks. We're very aloof when it comes to this. A lot of creatives are just they don't really know, we're starving artists, right?
Yeah.
Most of the part. But the irony was I had this business acumen that I learned before that kind of helped blend the two things together. And I really quickly, I didn't want to go. And then the other thing is I was 30 years old when I finished film school. So I'm finishing film school with 20-year-olds. I'm not trying to live in an apartment, make YouTube videos with 6 guys walking around. I'm not doing that. So I had to figure out how to monetize that really quickly.
Yeah.
So that was the inception of KJ2 Productions, man. I said, if I'm going to do this, might as well just do it on my own.
Yeah.
Take a leap of faith. I'm at the bottom of the bottom right now anyways.
Yeah.
And really no way I can go but up. So decided to go ahead and crush that narrative and just started my own business.
Wow. So you start, did you know what type of production that you wanted from the beginning? You just
absolutely not, bro. I knew the only thing that I knew was I love storytelling. Right? We love storytelling.
Yep.
And we cut our teeth in a lot of different things in the beginning. We did a lot of music videos because guys that were artists, they always needed someone. They needed to get their music out, and we needed to get production experience out, right? So it's kind of like this kind of pro bono world where we were doing all this stuff for free, but we were building our brands and our craft.
Got it.
And start thinking about that.
So where my mind goes to is how and where did you start? Because there's multiple hats that you're wearing. I
Absolutely.
mean, I would say that one of the most important hats that you had to wear is where am I going to find the business, right?
Right.
So how did you stumble upon music videos?
Well, music videos was just one of those things. You think about a photographer, for instance. A photographer starts, they're just looking to build their book of their photography. So typically where they find opportunities is models. Yep. Models are trying to get their headshots done because they're trying to build their business. So there's a thing called model mayhem that people would kind of sync up on, and then they would just have a photographer that's looking to build their brand and a model that. So kind of the same thing.
Got it.
With us, we were who needs storytelling?
Yeah.
And where we wound up cutting our teeth in when we got to Sacramento is known for having a ton of nonprofits.
Yeah.
Right? Nonprofits are all these folks out there that literally have no capacity building in some capacities, and they needed their story told.
Got it.
So what we were hey, we could tell these stories because we were just like anything else, like a business, we were like knocking on doors. We knew nobody, right? Zero. Nobody knew us. Sacramento, I felt like was this kind of cliquish environment when I first got here. You know, a lot of government. If you weren't in government, working at the Capitol or something like that, you were just kind of like, you know, a little bit of a nobody. So what I did was, wait a minute, there's a lot of nonprofits. Nonprofits have these opportunities to tell these stories. What we were able to do is really going into these kind of contractual portions. We were like, hey, we want to have full creative control over this project. If we're going to do it pro bono or cut rate or whatever the case may be. So that was the agreement. But then the byproduct of that was who sat on nonprofit boards? Decision makers, CEOs, CFOs, executive directors, you know, whatever the case may be. These are ultimate decision makers. So people were asking us like, okay, well, shit, this is really good work. And you're doing this for pro bono. Like, what if you got paid? What would you do differently? We were like, nothing. We would just be getting a check now. I mean, it's like, we're not going to dumb down the work.
Yeah.
But we were just having these opportunities now where people were just amazed and astonished at some of the stuff that we were doing and having this space of doing it in a way that we are now getting some resources to get behind it. So we could just scale the project.
Yeah.
So that's really like kind of where we cut our teeth. And we just, and even to this day, we still have a very soft heart for nonprofits. Our team is shooting a project right now for a company, organization called Robert's Family Development, which is in Del Paso. But we constantly are giving back in that capacity. Like we've never left that.
Amazing.
That space, you know, that's where we cut our teeth. So
I love it.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. I want to kind of still do the timeline with the school you got done with film school. What brought you up to Sacramento?
Sacramento was just a space where, so my family, my mom lived here in Sacramento. It was one of those areas where bigger fish, smaller pond. So to speak. Everybody was doing what I did in LA. Right?
In LA, yeah.
And coming to Sacramento was like, hey, there's an opportunity. I did have a little foundation here. So it was this kind of space. And like I said, bigger fish, smaller pond. But the irony of that was when we got here, you know, what the going rate in LA for things was just like a whole different thing. People were out here. It was like, and as a creative, here's the really sad part. I lost everything, every capacity of my acumen, my business acumen, went out of the door when I first started my business. Because I was so timid and connected to our craft that we didn't know how to price it.
Yeah.
And that's why I always tell people that creatives, I'm like, never marginalize yourself. If you marginalize yourself, everyone else is going to marginalize you, right? So we had to figure out a way, because people were like, well, the going rate for, say, a project, you know, is a certain amount of dollars an hour, say $80 an hour, right? People were up here were like, can you do it for 20?
Oh, wow.
And I was like, yeah. I mean, because at some point you just got to get it, right?
Yeah.
And there's a check in my office that I have that literally the first check I ever got paid for, $175 for a job that I did about 38 hours worth of work. Now you do the math. And I had to split that with another person, right? I had to pay the guy that I hired to do the job. So that's just a long way to come to figure out like that's how we got started, right?
Yeah.
And but for us, I think one of the keys to our success is like it's never been about money. One of my mentors told me years ago is like, don't worry about the money. If you do good work, the money will find you.
Yeah.
The opportunities will find you.
100%.
So I've always kept that as a narrative. We never do projects for a budget centric.
Yeah.
We do projects for opportunities, and we don't want to do one-offs.
Yeah.
Like that, you know, who spends their time just doing one-offs? So that opportunity cost is gone, right?
Yeah.
We want to build long-term relationships. So we want our name to be recognized as an organization that over delivers and not under delivers. On every project that we do. We always say we're going to put our foot in it.
Yeah.
No matter what we do, we're going to put our foot in it. So
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Now, so I want to jump around a little bit because now they've heard how you broke into this market, but a lot of people still, when they first hear this, won't know what KJ2 Productions is doing right now.
Yeah.
So jump all the way to the type of work that you're doing at this point in time so they can see what the growth is, and then we can start to pick apart that road because you're doing amazing stuff. So give us a little insight into what you've built this into today.
Yeah, primarily what we are a full-service media production company that focuses on critical storytelling through film.
Yep.
and I always say this, man, this is going to sound really, but every one of these right now, we say is our competition.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks that they could shoot video. Everyone thinks that they could create incredible content, right? And that's, to some degree, it's really cool, click-worthy. What we are trying to do is separate ourselves in this space of, number one, our pieces, we specialize in, branded content, commercial, educational documentaries, advocacy. But what our unique thing is our people. We still have the human element. We're service oriented, right? And the other thing that we always want to accomplish with our pieces is, number one, we want to raise awareness. We want to build trust. And then ultimately, we want to have some sort of call to action. If you're watching our content, ultimately we want somebody to do something after they saw it. It's not just, okay, cool, let's click to the next one. It's usually has some visceral connection to making an action.
Got it.
Right? For our clients. So
Yeah.
that's how we're best stewards to our clients. It's like, we're evoking people to do something. Right? So it gives us an opportunity to work. I mean, we've worked in so many different spaces, but what we've done over the years is some people have this concept of being a jack of all trades. We don't want to be the jack of all trades. We want to be hyper focused on a vertical that we are good at. So then we can go in and say, hey, this is what we charge for what we do. This is kind of the rules of engagement of what we do. And then we become specialists in that.
Love it.
That's been our journey, and it's people always have this kind of facade about entrepreneurship. They just see the tip of the iceberg. They don't see the paddling that you're constantly doing, like a duck going across the pond. You see a duck just chilling on a pond, right? You're like, oh, that duck is cruising. But underneath, that duck is
100%
paddling.
100%.
Right? And that's what, as entrepreneurs, that's what you do. And full transparency, I have some of these really challenging nights where I cannot shut my mind off.
I bet.
Like, I literally cannot sleep an even night. I look at my Oura ring. My Oura ring data is it's whacked out, right? It's because I just don't know how to shut my mind off. So I have to have a notepad, a creative notepad or something next to my bed or my phone. I get this idea, and then I have to just jot it down. Right? And then come back and develop it or ideate it later. But
And is that for current projects, ongoing, like upcoming projects?
Upcoming projects, because in our world, man, in my world specifically, it's not we are theoretically freelancers in the entire space, right? I mean, we don't just get a check just because a check. We don't have these, I look at people, we're in Sacramento, which is a very government-oriented town. People work for the state or whatever the case may be. They get a check on the 1st and 15th, no matter what, right? It's not my world. And then I got a plethora of other people. I got 13 other people that require me to go out and get, bring those resources in. Creatives are not, you could dangle a carrot in front of a creative sometimes. We don't know how to go grab it. Right? So fortunately, my side, I have a little bit of that acumen that I learned from business to kind of keep that going. But yes, it's usually looking at a forecast and like, things are great right now. 6 months, we have nothing on the books. Right? How do I make sure that is going to cycle out, right? You're thinking about penciling out. Like, I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills in 6 months. That is not a great space to be in. So when you start thinking about sustainability, as an organization, it's a constant narrative that you're always trying to say. And then the other thing is, there's this kind of mindset of out of sight, out of mind. Sometimes you feel you have to be in all these spaces to make sure that people had that first right of refusal, like, oh, I need a project done. Oh, we should reach out to KJ2 Productions. And then also thinking about how do we build ambassadors that are out there doing, that are promoting for us, right? The biggest word of mouth is just like in your industry, it's like somebody referring you, right? They had a great experience with you. I always say, I use this analogy of like a triangle, 3 points to a triangle. There's cost, there's experience, and there's quality. You can't do all three. You can't be the cheapest, give the best product, and give the best experience. You got to focus on two. We're never going to be the cheapest. We don't want to be the cheapest. We want to provide the best experience and the best quality. And hopefully that resonates with people as the value that they get is over time, is the fact that they got a great experience and a great product, and they'll come back to us. Or they'll refer us at the least.
I've always thought it's fascinating when you've I used to really geek out on this stuff of like tracking where the referrals came from, the referral sources, and, my time and where my energy is spent. I feel like, this is year 21 in real estate, but like my first 10 to 12 years in real estate, I was out networking and doing so much of that. It was like crazy, right?
Yeah.
But when you really find out, when you peel the onion back, some of the best referrers in my business are the other entrepreneurial spirited people. Like some of the more higher end, like the Roy Yangs. We mentioned Roy's a good buddy of ours that's an attorney, and like he's just an incredible person. He's finding a way to connect people. You know what I mean? Of course, like always get some one-off referrals, but like when you mentioned like your EO group, I would imagine that that's probably like really good time served over there.
Yeah, the EO group is, you mentioned EO. Yeah, a couple of people in EO, you guys know you're Mark Haney.
Yep.
Mark Haney is just like an incredible entrepreneur, right? But he's also an incredible connector.
Yeah.
You look at these folks. There's a guy named Todd Bollenbeck, who was a member out at El Macero for a while.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, but incredible connector.
Yeah.
And sometimes, even me in that space, I just want to connect people.
Yeah.
Right? So I always believe in collaborative work. Collaboration is like, if it takes me 10 hours to do what you can do in 1 hour, why in the hell am I doing it?
Yeah.
Right? It's like, it's not the best use of my time. So when you talk about that, yeah, I mean, I want to make sure I can go and spin my wheels trying to promote, or the best form of response that I get is A, when people refer us, right? And then B, when we are building those long-term relationships where people come back to us. They give us that first right of refusal. And they're like, hey, we want to make sure that we're connecting with you. That's the amount of labor that you put into, and that's where the service orientation of the job comes into play. It's like, I don't want to just continue to do one-offs. So what?
Yeah.
That cycle is challenging.
Yeah.
All the time.
For sure.
That's like if I was a wedding videographer or something. Unless you're getting married and divorced, you're not how many times am I really going to
Exactly.
Exactly. And no offense to wedding videographers, but that's not who we are. But we've done it all.
Yeah.
But we've done I can look at our capacity of what we've done. We've done every iota of business out there.
Yeah.
But what we've over time is like, hey, this is where we sit.
Yeah.
This is where we fit, right?
Yeah.
This is where we're going to dwell.
Love it.
Storytelling.
So
is there any projects that over the last several years that really stand out to you in that realm that you're like, man, that was a lot of fun, filled with a lot of emotion? Are they all kind of special in their own regard?
That's a great question, because it sounds so jaded. Sometimes we've done so much work.
Yeah.
But I think if I really brought it to a granular level, some of those organizations that we work with that are really struggling to tell their story, and there's a plethora of those. Those are the ones that we're probably most proud of.
Love that.
Things that we can really dive into, and because I always say this, anyone can set a camera up, push record. Are you really telling a story?
Yeah.
The idea of us, if you could watch something that we produced, turn the volume off, and still get it, that means we've done something impactful.
That's
I like that.
That means like you get it without any audio. The audio is lagniappe. The audio is just like a cherry on top. That means we've done a good job of captivating a story with camera movements, with composition, with all of that, right?
Yeah.
And that takes art. Like I said, anyone could just put it on a tripod and hit record. That's not what they're paying us for.
Yeah.
Your nephew could do that.
Yeah.
So we're trying to keep ourselves we're trying to always maintain what is our differentiator.
Yeah.
Our differentiator is really telling making visceral content.
Yeah. Is there? Do you guys have your own studio space, or are you all? You're okay. So
Yeah, we're on 7th and self promotion right here. We're on 517 7th Street downtown, about 5 blocks away from the arena.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're right in the mix of everything that's going on near the rail yards. It's a great space to be. But most of our work that we do is on
Offsite, yeah.
On location. We do some studio things, but most of the stuff is, we like the backdrop to be the backdrop.
I love
right?
that.
Not creating a backdrop. We like, hey, if you're out there in the streets doing something, we want to make sure that we're in the streets with you, right? Those backdrops are really important to us.
Would you say that your time now is spent less holding a camera and shooting and spent more running the team?
Bro, here's another, we're going to be full transparent, right? I wouldn't even know how to. I'm bullshitting.
I was wondering when you asked that. I was like, man,
people are going to listen to this podcast.
Oh, yeah, they be like, we're not.
And they're going to roll their eyes.
Yeah, this old Buster. No, bro. The technology changes so fast, right?
Yeah.
And then, you get into this space where when I started this business, I did every capacity of it.
Yeah.
I was a producer. I was a writer. I was an editor. I was the salesperson. I did it all, right? How do you scale a business? You scale a business by delegating responsibility.
Who, not a how.
Right? There's no way that I could do it all.
Yeah.
I could try to do it all and make all the money, right?
Yeah.
There's no way that I can grow. I got 24 hours in a day. People talk about they could time manage it. You can't manage time. You can only manage yourself within the confines of time, right?
Yep.
So, over the years, and the humility has to play a huge part in leadership. Knowing that what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. I can do it all, but I also want to bring on people that are smarter than me, that are better than me, that are more impactful than me. So when I think about editors, or if I think about our camera operators, I think about, I'll tap into some projects and say, I'll direct this project. But most of the job now is basically a producer. And a producer is just a glorified way of saying, how do you go get the money for it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Executive producer. You're responsible for funding it.
Yep.
So that's my responsibility. And my responsibility, more importantly than that, is to provide my team opportunities where they don't have to feel like they're freelancers.
Yeah.
Because artists used to have this, I don't want them to have that lifestyle. I want them to know that, there's a safe place where they can harbor and do their creative work, and I take a lot of that buffer. So my job is primarily just that higher level execution. I tap in sometimes on set. But that's a beautiful, when you become irrelevant in the day-to-day operations of a business,
I'm jealous.
That's an incredible space to be in.
Exactly.
It's an incredible space to be in.
Yeah.
So, and that's where I'm at in some degrees. The day-to-day, I'm not really involved with I love that artistry. I still do it on myself, on my phone. On my phone a lot. I went back to that side of it, but that side of it, it's in good hands.
Yeah.
I built it, and it's in good hands. I just need to work on the opportunities of keeping ourselves relevant in this space and keeping our name relevant.
Making sure that the business is still coming in.
Making sure business comes to the door. I'm the wrangler.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I got to go out and hunt.
No doubt. What would you tell yourself, a kid out of film school? What advice would you give yourself if you now that you know what you know about this industry, man?
I would say, back to what I said earlier, is like, hey, know your worth and never marginalize it. I did that so many times, and I kicked myself in the butt so many times because I marginalized. I wasn't confident.
Yeah.
Right. And
do you think that helped you back?
I think it just it stunted our growth.
Got it.
And it wasn't until I started to think about, from a business perspective, a lot of businesses fail because they focus so much on bottom line, right? When I pivoted and started thinking about top line, and bottom line, you're just concerned about how much everything is costing, right?
Yep.
When I started to think about, okay, how do I bring other people on? The first thing you're thinking about is, this is going to cost me, hire someone, it's going to cost me $80,000 a year. It's going to cost me, $60,000, whatever that is, right? But you can't look at it from that perspective. You got to look at it, what is that going to gain you?
Yeah.
And I'm just looking to gain extra time, right? To pivot into areas where I can be more hyper-focused on what I'm good at. So I would tell myself that earlier on. I would learn not to hemorrhage money straight up, because the first couple of years you're just like, where the hell? I don't know where money is going. I would reinvest earlier.
Yeah.
And then lastly, I would just, consider that idea of really be refined in what you do and be hyper-focused on that. Reading one of these books, I think it was one of Malcolm Gladwell's books, either Tipping Point or Outliers, one of them talked about putting 10,000 hours into your craft.
Yes.
People think you're lucky sometimes, especially being an African-American business owner. Man. Some people think, they're gonna typecast you as two things. Either A, you're lucky, or you did some shady shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Neither one of those is the narrative. But yeah. And that's almost like disheartening at times.
It is.
to kind of fall into that category. But no, it's a lot of hard work. You got to love what you do.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm fortunate. I'm in a space where I absolutely love what we do.
Yeah.
I love the impact we made. I've been to 99 countries in my life, right?
Damn.
Oh, I knew that was going
About
to make you smile.
70 of them, 60 to 70 of them, somewhere in that range is for work, specifically for work.
Wait, so we got to
That's
talk. We
crazy.
have to talk
That
about
is
that.
a crazy statement.
Because you're being a little vague in regards to the companies. You basically said we do storytelling, but like for who? Like what brought you to 60 to 70 countries?
Yeah. Well, so that's a great question, but a lot of it has been we've done some diplomatic trips where we traveled like with senators and recorded content while they were gone, advocacy work. We've done a lot of work with nonprofits, large nonprofits that have organizations across the world. So like Doctors Without Borders, Pastors for Peace, Red Cross, Habitat for Humanity, organizations like this that have things that are going on. Serious Fun, which is Paul Newman's ode. The Little Caesar. I mean the
You talk about the dressing?
the dressing.
yeah.
On the back of the dressing, sources from that funds from that dressing goes to this organization called Serious Fun, and they have like orphanages across the world, like West Africa and the West Indies, where they are providing housing and support for kids with like serious ailments, like whether it's HIV or cancer. So we've done documented work with that. We Solar, which was an organization that was putting solar spaces in places like Haiti and places like that where there's no power grid there. So we've been privy to telling these stories all over the place.
That's,
right?
that's
And
incredible.
Incredible. And most of these places aren't bucket list places that I've been to.
Yeah.
You know, so it's and that opens your eyes. I mean, we've been privy to sitting behind a production where we don't even know what they're saying.
Yeah.
But we can see the visceral feeling on their face. And I always say this comment, I want to get my Barbara Walters on. I want to get people to cry on camera, right? But I wind up being the one that's crying because it's like the impact that I'm hearing that whatever these programs are doing for them, I mean, we're privy to tell those stories and just be stewards to those stories. So that's been a lot of it. You know, a lot of it has been that.
That's
I
insane.
love that insight. I'm glad you peel back the curtain on that, man, because that's what, you know, people when they hear how much you're doing in the storytelling, I'm sure they couldn't grasp until you said that. And man, I mean, that a number. Like, I mean, you love to travel, so I knew that was gonna light your eyes up, man.
That's a lot of airplane time.
A lot of miles, bro. I got over 4 million miles with Delta, bro.
Dang!
Yeah. So that's a lot. It's a lot. But again, the travel side of it, and then we do some stuff with, you know, our family. We love that concept. Getting out of the space of what we live in.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're jaded into like we think, and I say this all the time, especially when we're going through COVID. We're dealing COVID was one of those spaces where other countries were just chilling along with, because they've already been under that kind of duress.
Mm-hmm.
Americans, we were flipping out because we were like, oh, we have to stay home.
Yeah.
We can't travel. You telling me I can't go? I can't just jump on a plane and go somewhere.
Yeah.
Other countries have lived that their entire existence.
Yeah.
So we didn't adapt well. For us, it's a little bit of challenging, but it's just one of those things where I start to think most of the issues that we have here are literally first world problems.
Oh yeah.
Literally.
Oh yeah.
We're thinking, you know, our internet is slow.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
gas prices are high. These are first world problems.
Yeah.
So sometimes you put that in perspective, and when you go other places and you see how people live, the common thread is like they just live a very comfortable life in their space. They know, maybe they know no other, right? You go to somewhere like Cuba or go to somewhere like Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy because they're just living in a space that's all they know.
Yeah.
And we get there, and this is going to sound really bad. I mean, as Americans, sometimes we're just bad travelers.
Yeah.
Like we go somewhere and we want everyone to
That's the
speak English.
truth. That's the truth.
We want everyone to understand how to use the dollar.
Yeah.
Right? We don't
Or we want everything immediately.
immediately. You go to the islands, bro, everything is going to be Irish.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
You got to slow it completely down. Right? I went and played golf at a place in I think it was like St. Thomas. And I said an early tea time because I usually like to go out early because
Yeah.
I can spend the rest of the day with my family.
Yeah.
So I said like an 8 o'clock tea time. I get down to the spot at like 7:50. I mean, like 7:30. Cause I'm thinking hit some balls and everything. Gates locked, right? Padlock on the gate. I'm like, damn. It's like, okay, am I at the right spot? Lady rolls in around 8:05. I'm like thinking my tea time was 8 o'clock. She's like, don't worry, everything gonna be all right. I'm like, okay, that's the life in the island. So you're right. I mean, we want immediate gratification. We want all of this stuff, but you go other places and you just have to slow it down. You know, disconnect. And one of probably my most impressive trips I ever went on was last year. Mariah and I went to Fiji. Went to this little island in Fiji, not the main island. It was like Termini. Fiji's got like 100 and something islands. Went there, no cell phone service, nothing. Nothing felt transactional. You know, you go on vacation, sometimes you feel like everything feels transactional. No transactional feeling with the staff that was there. We stayed in this little resort that had like 150 people serving like 16 huts or 16 like casitas. And you just felt like overwhelmed with like love. Crazy. And it was like, it was perfect. It was tapped out. I mean, Fiji, you can't really go wrong with it. But it's just one of those things where, and the life was just very low. Yeah. Like there was all this technology, we were tapped out of all of it, right? It was just like grassroots. Yeah. It was awesome, man.
That's
awesome.
incredible.
So I always say, if we could figure out a way to get, especially our youth, just get them out to travel a little more. Sometimes they just get jaded with this idea of what they have, what they're entitled to. There's no entitlement when you go other places, man. It's just like, you just live that life. And sometimes as Americans, we travel and we just want everyone to acquiesce to what we want. And I've learned that as soon as I get on a plane somewhere, the first thing I'm thinking, as soon as we plan somewhere I've never been, I'm trying to learn at least 4 or 5 phrases, may murder them, but at least you're trying, right? So when you get there, ask, how to say where's the bathroom, or how to say thank you, or how to say good morning. Just simple things so you can act like
that's awesome. Yeah.
You've been somewhere before, right? So,
those trips can also make you not want to come back to the grind because you get to see just the other side of it.
There's been many times, bro, where I felt, man, you got to go back home. I remember one little critical story was when Trump got elected the first time. I was in Durban, South Africa, right? And it's amazing when you go other places how much people know about American politics.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's incredible. You couldn't tell, the average person couldn't tell you who the president of Nicaragua is or the president of Brazil is, right? But every other country knows who the president of the United States. And I remember being there. It was the year when we were there during the election season. Election night, I went to bed thinking that Hillary Clinton was going to be. And I keep in mind we're like 14 hours ahead of time, so I'm thinking, okay, Hillary's going to be our president, whatever. And then waking up in the morning and the bus, one of the bellhops is like, Trump is your president, and I'm like, what? We were there on a delegation, and it was like, what? And the first thing we were thinking is, how do we change citizenship right now? How do we say in South Africa? And it was just crazy. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's like it's just an irony of how much people know about American culture. But to some degree, sometimes you're like, I could probably just live here and be okay. So
lifestyle is very, very different. Very, very different when you get to travel to other countries.
No doubt, but you also, with somebody with as busy of a schedule as you have and so much heart and soul goes into everything you do, your appreciation for slow is probably way different than, I would say, the majority of people, man.
I would say that you definitely have, sometimes if you can get untapped and unwired, you really kind of regenerate certain things and make you think about how to approach certain components of your life differently. I applaud folks who journal or meditate. I try to journal a little bit. I don't meditate as much as often, but those are important spaces to regenerate your time. For me, assets are, I would say, material things are not as important. I like experiences. Experiences. Travel gives me experiences that you can never that you can never strip that away from me. I've had material things stolen, material things lost, and then the memories and those things that you create when you travel. those are forever embedded.
For sure.
Right? And it just grows your whole capacity of understanding and being maybe empathetic for things that are going on here. So, yeah.
You got any trips in 2026 planned?
Yeah, we're going to, we actually go to Ireland next month. We have a couple trips to Cancun. This is like some things that we're just doing for family, but Ireland is probably a big one, and Thailand is a big one later this year too.
Have you been to Ireland or Thailand?
I've been to Ireland and Thailand, both. But Mariah, her big thing is she wants to go to Thailand, and then we're going to Ireland for. My Ireland trip was like, are you guys both golfers? I know you're a golfer.
Hey, I'm not the best golfer. I mean, James.
He was a member at El Macero before.
I was a member. We joined at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'll put it to you this way: if I shoot like a 98, I'm bragging about it.
Okay, that's good. Man. That's good. Golf is just one of those things where, hey, man, you enjoy your time, right?
Yeah. You know, talks a lot of shit. It's James Shelby.
Oh yeah, I know that. James is.
He's pretty good at golf.
James gotten a lot better at golf. He's definitely gotten a lot better. But my Ireland trip, I went to Ireland in I think it was 2019, right? Year before COVID, and went to Ireland on a golf trip specifically. Like a 2-week
That's like
golf trip.
that's kind of like almost Mecca, right?
It's Mecca.
Yeah.
You know, other than that, maybe Scotland.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But Ireland, right there, right? All the link style courses. And bro, when I tell you Delta lost my golf clubs for the entire 2 weeks.
Oh no. You gotta be kidding me.
No bullshit, bro. Lost my golf clubs, got there. I went to Amsterdam for a couple days before just to hang out, and then flew over to meet my buddies in Ireland. And golf clubs landed in Ireland, nowhere to be found. So you're thinking, man, this is not just like a weekend in Vegas where it's like, okay, I'll just rent some club. I'm in Ireland for the first time, playing some of the most prolific courses, and every day renting clubs. It was, yeah. And then here's the irony, bro. When I'm heading back to getting ready to go back to California, guess where my golf clubs were the entire time? At the hotel that we first checked in, but they had no clue where they tracked them. They delivered them to the hotel. The hotel didn't know who they were. So basically for 2 weeks, we had been moved. We hadn't stayed in the same hotel.
Are you talking about in California or Amsterdam?
No, in Ireland, in Dublin.
Holy
We landed in Dublin, only
shit.
stayed in Dublin one night, and then we were on one of these really cool trips.
Yeah.
We went to the British Open. We were on these cool trips where we were staying in different bed and breakfasts throughout we went throughout the whole country.
So this is a redemption trip for you coming up.
Well, I don't know about redemption. I already got Delta for what they lost. I charged them for that, for sure. But it was just like a shitty experience. It's like, man, this entire time. And my boys, it's one of those trips where you're gambling, betting money. Yeah. And my boys are driving me the entire time. I'm like, I'm using rental clubs. I'm using rental clubs. But you don't want to go to Ireland, bro, and use rental clubs the entire time.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. So.
Oh, my goodness.
Are you still a member at El Macero?
No, I left El Macero last year around November time. Yeah, not long ago.
Yeah. Are you a member at any clubs around here?
No, man. I started playing pickleball, bro.
Yeah.
And pickleball, I'm in this pickleball thing right now, man. And I was looking at my tracking. I'm probably like you. I was literally El Macero. I was logging almost like 6 rounds a year.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I was using El Macero more so for like the Troon connection.
Yeah.
I would use courses other places.
And you're not using the Troon connections like you should.
I haven't been. I've been playing El Macero a little bit. They do got pickleball now, though. Did you know that?
Yeah, I know. I'm actually going to El Macero tonight. To play poker. Yeah, I'm going to
El
play poker
Macero's
tonight.
got a great restaurant.
Oh,
I think they're
it was a great space. I loved it. I was there for almost 6 years. I started at Rancho Marietta, and I went over to El Macero for like 6 years. But then it was just a time where I was just like busy with work.
Yeah.
And I was just looking at how much time. And honestly, full transparency, Mariah started looking at my finances. And she was like, you met Mariah.
Yeah.
And she was looking at my finances. She was like, this is how much money you're spending a month in X, Y, Z. How many times are you using this? And it was just like grill session. And I was like, you know what?
Couldn't even justify it.
And it just justified it. And I was like, I had like 6 memberships of different places. Then I was like 3 pickleball memberships. And I said, okay, I got to scale it down to like, So it was one of those things where that was one of the collateral damage.
Well, being super connected.
Yeah.
it's kind of better in a way. You don't want to hear this, but I mean, if you
Yeah.
want to play at Elmo, you can play at Elmo. If you want to play at Del Paso,
play Del Paso, right? Want to play Valley High, play Valley High. And then, but honestly, I was looking at the economics of it. I was spending probably $8 because I have a golf cart that I was renting a garage. So I probably was spending close to $800 a month. $700-800 a month, right? And then I was doing the math on how many times I'm playing golf a year.
Oh yeah,
there.
Your per round.
So it was almost like, if I go somewhere else, I love it. The thing I was, and this is going to sound jaded or elitist, but I was like, oh, I'm not going to be a member somewhere.
Yeah,
I don't want to be that guy that's like, hey man, can I play at your club?
Yeah,
I didn't want to be that guy, right?
Yeah.
So, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I still like to. I play a lot of golf. But I play, when I'm traveling or whatever, we play golf a lot of different places. So
I met you at James' birthday, but I don't remember the exact story. You might have said it, but how did you come to meet James?
James and I are number one of fraternity brothers.
Whoa,
bingo!
I didn't know that.
Alpha Phi Alpha. We are fraternity brothers, but I met James probably through that connection when I got here, some sort of Alpha event. But James and I have kind of matriculated through a number of things. We went through a program called Nehemiah Emerging Leaders together, NELP. I don't know if you ever heard
Wasn't
of
his
that.
dad involved with that, or
No. A guy named Scott Syfax started NELP.
damn, that sounds familiar.
Yeah. So we went through it's a leadership cohort. We went through that together. We were in the same cohort. And then we just have a lot of the same common interest together. So we have this group of guys, couples now. It's called Quarterly Varietals. You met a couple of the couples at a birthday party.
All super good people.
Yeah, we get together like once a quarter and have dinner at either someone's house or a restaurant. We just kind of have it's like 6 couples. It's a cool little
That's awesome.
environment. Yeah,
That's
we just kind of chop it up and create a big bill of wine and food and just have a good time.
Nice.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, good dude. I actually knew his father before I knew him, because his father used to work for the Urban League.
Urban
That's
League,
what
what I was thinking of.
Yeah,
Okay,
Urban League was one of our clients. So I actually knew his father before I knew. They call him Jamie.
Jaime.
Jaime, that's what you call him. Yeah.
Oh,
Good
man.
stuff, man.
Yeah, incredible. Well, obviously, production company is where it's at, and you've been doing incredible things doing that, but it's obviously opened up doors for a lot of other things when it comes to you being an entrepreneur, investing, and things like that. Outside of the production, man, where has this life taken you, man?
It's one of those things where the candid conversation we were having before we started rolling was, I like the opportunities to support other things.
For
right?
sure.
And when it comes to investing, I've been if I were to look at how much money I've lost over the years, right, of just making bad investments, uninformed things, it's shocking to me.
Yeah.
Right. And any investment is a risk. But where my mindset has been is just I want to make sure I am partnering with stewards.
Yeah.
People that are good stewards to their craft, right? I don't need to know the day-to-day of all of that. I don't have the capacity. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
When it comes to real estate, some of the things that I've invested in real estate, I don't know the ins and outs of real estate, but I want to trust the partners that I've gone into this with, right? And just have them be good stewards.
Yeah.
Right? I've tapped into, do you guys remember Chris Yowers?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was one of my best friends for a number of years, and we went into some space together in the restaurant side, with Broderick's and some of those things, and didn't pan out. Some of the things were really risky, and lost some money there, and lost a friend. He eventually passed away. But those are just kind of like learning experiences. But I'm still always thinking about like where could I plant some seeds, and learn about that capacity in a way where I'm just partnering with good stewards.
Yeah.
And that's always, I'm involved with Growth Factory, which is a fund that we're just primarily investing in, and that's going good. Things like that. Mentioned like Urban Capital Partners. Just a lot of the, I've been fortunate to have some resources now plant certain ways. I'd say about 5 years ago, I divested like half my retirement, and my financial advisor thought I was flipping out, right?
Yeah.
Because I was like, yeah, I'm going to take some of this money and just start planting in other ways.
Yeah.
And he thought I was freaking out. So I had to kind of justify that. Yeah. So sometimes that stuff is stressful, but, you know, the idea is really kind of having like a 10-year exit strategy in some capacities.
Yeah.
And really just, but then also, you mentioned EO. There's just some incredible spirits in that organization. Like people that, you know, the unique thing about EO, not going to plug EO, but I am going to plug it, is it's like my tribe. It's a tribe of people that are, nobody's been handed down a business. It's all founders.
Yeah.
People that have grown a business from nothing to a 7-figure, you know, business with employees. And that's our common ground.
Yeah.
You know, that's the area that we kind of, so you have these other CEO groups that are maybe hired CEOs. They don't really have the same experience. And a lot of these leadership things that I've gone through most leadership programs in this region, ALF, Nehemiah, Leadership SAC, you know, incredible people that you meet in that, but sometimes you have these conversations, or even with my family.
Yeah.
I can't have the same conversations about the things that I deal with on a day-to-day basis.
For sure.
You know, running payroll or making payroll. You mentioned hats. We have to wear every hat in a space when you're an entrepreneur. Every hat, right? And then sometimes you can delegate some of those responsibilities off. But at the end of the day, you're spinning plates.
Yep.
I call it spinning plates, and you're constantly spinning plates. So that, to me, sometimes when I go to EO, I kind of network in that space.
Yeah.
You know, and we have these very transparent conversations that I can't get anywhere else. So
Yeah. All right. So KJ, man, a lot of stuff that you've accomplished, but you know, what does KJ2 Productions look like 5 years from now, man? You've built a lot. What's in the future for you, man?
You know, that's always a legacy type question, and people ask, like, a lot of times, what's your legacy, right? Some people, their kids, automatically are their legacy. In some capacities, you can have so much money that your name is on a building. Or like Willie Brown's got a name on a bridge going across San Francisco. That could be your legacy. For us, I think the stories that we've captured and curated over the years are there in perpetuity, right? They'll be there a lot longer than we will.
Yeah.
Right? Years from now, someone can go back and look at a NAACP thing or a, you know, Malik Monk in the Pizza Guys commercial.
There it is.
You know, they can be like, oh, yeah, that's really cool. Who was Malik Monk? You know, what's Pizza Guys? Our stuff is going to be there forever.
Yeah.
Right? But I think more granular over the next 5 years, this is a space that's really tough when it comes to AI.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Our industry is borderline irrelevant, right? And when I think of that on a daily basis, I'm like, how do we sustain ourselves? You know, maybe another generation, maybe. But I think when you think about our clients, right? Our clients still want to deal with humans.
Yes.
Right? At least in this space.
Yes.
I don't know about the next generation.
Yes.
Next generation might be like, hey, we don't want to talk to anybody. We just want shit done. We just want content. We just want we want production. We don't want to talk to anybody. That would wipe us out, right? Honestly. So we have to constantly pivot and use agility in our business to some degree. And I would say, how do we adapt? You know, we use AI.
Yeah.
We don't use it for generative. We use it for corrective.
Yeah.
You know, just to help us become, when you think about opportunity costs, how do we be more efficient? But I would say, you know, just making sure that we're sustained in a way that we are continuing to be relevant in the space. And that's not always easy. Staying true to what we do. And then while we are still trying to figure out how do we adapt to, because anybody that, it's in any business, a church, a business, if you're not planting seeds,
That's right.
you know, one of the things that I really do is I bring on I'm constantly bringing on younger creatives.
Yeah.
Because I know my vision and my concepts are antiquated in a lot of ways, right? So I'm constantly bringing in that new, fresh, young, and we're always trying to develop here locally.
Yeah.
You know, people that have either, because people think you want creativity, you got to go to LA,
Yeah.
you got to go to Seattle, you got to go to San Francisco. I don't want to deal with that bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, we have creatives here. How do we continuously create a space for creatives to live, work, and play here?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's really a big goal of mine. Just staying relevant, man, and continue to make really cool stuff. Continue to adapt, and yeah, that's really our goal.
Man, I
stay
love
relevant,
that.
man.
Here's the thing, man. You've won at every step. You've taken some blind leaps of faith, and you've won every single time. So I don't expect anything other than you keep adapting and keep winning as things go along, man.
Well, places, what you guys are doing, you guys are allowing people a space to tell their stories. That's awesome, man. You guys are storytellers yourselves.
Yeah.
So continue to do that. I love the capacity of just bringing people with unique backgrounds, unique stories, and just having that kind of conversation. Just dive in. Because what this ultimately does, it ultimately gives energy and inspiration for other people coming up.
100%.
And that's what you guys are doing. You guys are providing a platform for that. And that's awesome. I appreciate you taking the time to invite me over. Sorry about the,
Oh, we had a good time.
We're gonna play golf. Whether
that's regardless.
that's our next time where we're hanging out. We're gonna play some golf.
Absolutely.
Let's do it, man. I appreciate it, man. But thank
Legacy
you
Lounge.
for being in the lounge, man. Appreciate you, KJ.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome, man. We're
We
out.
out.